My house caught fire, and pregnant Lily was burned alive inside. I wasn't worried, but Selena was losing her mind. She called me dozens of times, saying my daughter Lily was dead and I needed to go home immediately. I just turned off my phone, cracked open a bottle of champagne, and sipped it leisurely. In my last life, I got Selena's call and rushed home frantically, only to find Lily's charred body. Selena claimed Lily called her before she died, crying that during her pregnancy, I abused her daily and caused her miscarriage. So she didn't want to live anymore. Even my husband accused me of intentionally bringing Lily back from her in-laws and locking her at home to beat her up. But I always treated Lily like a treasure, never saying a harsh word to her. How could I have ever hit her? To prove my innocence, I chose to report it to the police. But when they checked our home surveillance footage, they found me beating Lily every day. Even her body had old injuries from repeated abuse. I became a villain in everyone's eyes, the wicked mother and murderer. Eventually, Lily's husband traveled from another city and killed me outright with a knife. Even as I died, I couldn't understand how Lily, whom I cherished, could be abused and miscarry, leading her to a fiery suicide. Reopening my eyes, I was reborn to the day Lily was burned to death. Hey honey, tough day at work. I made you some of your favorite dishes. Try them out. John placed homemade dishes on my desk, his eyes full of hope. His gentle smile of 20 years made me pause. Being married to John for over 2 decades, he always treated me with love and tenderness. Anything I mentioned became his priority, delivered lovingly. Lily was attached to me since childhood, even returning home during her pregnancy to recuperate. Fearing I'd be too worn out, John dropped everything to care for our well-being at home. With him around, life was pretty carefree for Lily and me. It wasn't till last life, when John accused me in public of abusing Lily. I had no inkling he had such a twisted side to him. Honey, what's wrong? Not to your taste, John asked, looking concerned and a bit hurt. I stayed silent, swallowing my anger and doubts, as I smiled and picked up the chopsticks. As I tasted his lovingly made meal, bitterness overwhelmed me. The last time I had this meal, Lily died soon after being burned at home. When I got there, I saw Lily's charred body and wept uncontrollably. Selena pointed fingers, questioning why I harmed my own. I was baffled. Selena said Lily called her, cried about me beating her daily during pregnancy, causing her miscarriage, and how Lily would rather die than face me, the monster. In the midst of my confrontation with Selena, John showed up. I hoped he'd clear my name, but instead, he faced me with teary anger. Since Lily married, you've disliked her husband Mike, pressuring her to divorce. I told you, let the young handle their matters. Why didn't you listen and forced Lily into despair? He accused me, painting a picture of a mother so horrible, she'd pressure her daughter into divorce by abuse. But I liked Mike and was supportive of Lily. I never uttered a harsh word. How could I have abused her to miscarriage? Desperately, I called the police to clear things up, but they pulled up footage of Lily begging for mercy from me, crying endlessly, "Mom, stop hitting me." I was horrified seeing that recording. I was home during that time, but did none of it. My fervent explanations were drowned in spectators' disdainful curses. The coroner examined Lily and found many old injuries from severe abuse. They concluded Lily suffered weeks of beatings. Oh my God, how can someone be so vile? Even if you dislike your son-in-law, why beat your daughter to death and miscarriage over it? Such a killer actress, crying over her own child. This monster deserves death. Everyone bombarded me with insults, and even threw trash and rocks at me. The hashtags vile mother and poor daughter blew up on socials. Every netizen hurled the worst insults my way. With my voice lost, Mike emerged from the crowd, clutching a knife. He hacked at my neck, killing me brutally. No one stopped him. Onlookers cheered, hailing Mike as a hero for removing the evil. I died amidst applause. Even with my last breath, the puzzle remained. How Lily, pampered and adored, ended so miserably at home. With past agonies fresh in my mind, this life calls for truth. Seeing me eat peacefully, John smiled with relief and said, "Enjoy the meal. Lily wanted chicken soup, so I'm off to the market for fresh chicken." As soon as John left, I called Lily. "Mom, what's up?" came her voice. Her familiar mom choked me with tears. Her voice, something I yearned to hear in my past life, reverberated in my ear now. Choking back tears, I asked, "Lily, have you been hurt since you've been home? Has anyone bullied you?" "No way," she replied cheerfully. "You and Dad treat me like a queen. Who could bully me?" I paused and probed. "Do you have any gripes with me? Did I ever do something unacceptable to you?" She laughed. "Of course not. You're the best mom ever. Why would I complain?" She sounded so genuine, with no hints of lying. But still the mystery remains from my last life. Where did Lily's injuries come from, and what was with the footage? Why did Lily set herself on fire? Too many questions haunt me. In the last life, everything happened so unexpectedly. I couldn't fix it. But this time, I'm not gonna make the same mistake. I told the person on the other end of the phone, just stay home and don't go anywhere. I'm coming home now. I hung up, hopped in my car, and rushed home. As soon as I parked at my complex, I ran into Selena, who was carrying some shopping bags. She looked surprised and asked, Alice, shouldn't you be at work right now? Why are you back so suddenly? Selena and I are close. We even bought homes in the same neighborhood to be near each other. Things aren't too busy at work today, so I thought I'd come home to spend time with Lily. I watched Selena carefully, observing every little expression on her face. She laughed and said, you sure do spoil your daughter, spending every possible moment with Lily. Her compliment felt genuine, and I couldn't detect anything suspicious, yet my doubts lingered. I looked her in the eyes and asked, do you really think I'm good to Lily? Without hesitating, Selena replied, of course. Sometimes I wish I'd been born 20 years later, just to be your daughter. She handed me a bag. Here. I saw Lily posting about wanting durian yesterday. I got this for her at the store today. Take it up to her, save me a trip. Selena's gesture seemed warm and genuine. Even the way she mentioned Lily was filled with sincerity. She didn't seem like someone who would pretend to be something she's not. But the more genuine she seemed, the more confused I became. Selena had always been close to our family. She even took Lily as her goddaughter, and was always there for her. To me, she was completely trustworthy, like family. So why would someone like her accuse me of being the one who killed Lily in front of everyone? I couldn't wrap my head around what went wrong. As I stood there confused, Selena had already turned and walked away. Looking at the durian in my hand and Selena's leaving figure, I suddenly had a realization. I immediately grabbed my phone and dialed a number. I need you to do something for me ASAP. And don't tell anyone. After hanging up, I didn't go home, but drove away from the complex. 2 hours later, Selena called me, one call after another, like she was in panic. I didn't pick up, so she started texting. Alice, something terrible happened. Your Lily set the house on fire and killed herself. You said you were coming home to be with Lily. Where are you? Get home as soon as you see this. Messages kept coming in. I turned off my phone and went to the office, opened a bottle of champagne, and enjoyed it leisurely. After half an hour, I finished the drink and turned my phone back on, only to find online platforms filled with people cursing at me. Many were broadcasting live from my house. In the footage, Selena was in tears, expressing her heartache. I've known Alice for decades. She's always been extreme and a bit violent. No one wanted to be around her. Ever since her daughter Lily got married, she kept ranting to me about her son-in-law, saying he wasn't good enough. Eventually, she couldn't even stand Lily anymore. I thought she was just venting, but I had no idea she'd push Lily to divorce so desperately that she ended up dead. I called her dozens of times, begging her to come back, but she didn't. It's like Lily's death has nothing to do with her. How can a mother be so cold and heartless? Selena played a recording of her last conversation with Lily. Lily's tearful voice came through clearly. Selena, my mom aborted my child. She beats me all the time, but why does she have to harm my kid too? My child's gone, and I don't want to live anymore. I can't face that demon of a mom again. After that, Lily disconnected the call. The recording made the live stream's viewership skyrocket instantly. Everyone was mourning Lily's death, and cursing me as an inhuman mother. John was there too, holding Lily's body, bitterly accusing me on camera. I married into Alice's family, so I didn't have much say in things. After Lily got pregnant, Alice coaxed her back from her in-laws. I thought she had good intentions, but I didn't expect her to torture Lily. If I said anything, she'd hit me too, treating neither of us with respect. I once considered divorce, but she threatened to have us killed, me and my family, if I tried leaving. Out of fear of dragging my family into this, I endured it all. But I didn't expect her to push Lily to death, just while I was out buying a chicken for her. I can't comprehend how a person could do such a thing. John, just like in the previous life, accused me of all sorts of brutalities with passionate outrage. His heartbreaking show of pain and grievances stirred up the audience's anger. Damn, how could such a disgusting woman exist? She's an animal. People like her are society's poison. I'm so mad I'm shaking. Is there anyone willing to rid the world of her? If I were there, I'd chop her down. The audience's fury reached a boiling point, with everyone seemingly eager to see me suffer. Seeing the situation was just about ripe, I went home. The entrance was swarming with people. The moment John saw me, he scrambled up and screamed at me through his tears. Alice, why did you kill my Lily? John's anguished cries resonated with all the onlookers, who were yelling their insults at me. Many threw rotten vegetables and eggs in my direction. Online, the chat was filled with curses and the vilest of wishes against me. Amidst this scene of insults, surrounded by foul trash, I smirked ever so slightly. I did something that shocked everyone there. In front of the crowd, I raised my hand and slapped John across the face. The loud, crisp smack suddenly silenced the chaos. Everyone was dumbfounded, staring at me. They didn't expect that I, the condemned murderer, would dare take the first shot and hit John publicly. "You dared hit me." John held his face, glaring daggers at me. I kept my composure and stated, "Weren't you just saying I hit people all the time at home? Now, I've only slapped you once. Are you really that surprised?" Seeing this, the live stream chat exploded with comments. "Damn, that's bold. This is the most arrogant woman I've come across. She must have some mighty connections to dare hit someone at a time like this. No wonder someone could drive their own daughter to death with a person like that who wouldn't feel suffocated living with her." John finally realized his reaction was off, so he immediately tried to act shocked. "I know you won't spare me for telling the truth, but if you're angry, take it out on me, not my family." I let out a cold laugh and mocked him. "John, your acting skills are pretty good. No wonder you managed to deceive me for over 20 years. John looked confused. "What do you mean by that?" I replied coldly. "What do I mean? John, have you done right by me?" He frowned slightly and asked, "What did I do wrong to you? You abused me and Lily every day, and wouldn't let me speak out, didn't you? You caused the death of Lily and our grandchild, and you still have the guts to blame me?" John's pitiful complaint moved the crowd, and they started yelling at me. "You've done nothing but bad things, and now you want others to cover for you. Yeah, Lily's dead, and you didn't even take a look. You just blame your husband. Are you even human? Disgusting. Why isn't she the one who died?" The live chat was filled with insults, calling me all sorts of names. I ignored the crowd's insults and looked at John deeply. "We've been married for over 20 years, and I've never looked down on you for where you came from. You said you wanted to invest, so I gave you money. You wanted to start a company, so I handed it over for you to run. All these years, whenever you asked, I did my best to help you. I turned you from a rural boy into a respected CEO, bringing glory to your whole family. But what about you? How did you repay me?" I pointed to Selena and raised my voice. "While enjoying everything I gave you, you were messing around with Selena behind my back." John's face showed a hint of panic, but before he could speak, Selena ran over and shouted, "Alice, haven't you caused enough trouble? You killed your own grandchild and Lily, and now you're throwing false accusations, accusing me of being involved with your husband." Her accusations were sharp, but I coldly asked, "Throwing false accusations?" I pulled out some documents. "Let's see if I'm really accusing you without proof." In front of the crowd and the live cameras, I revealed the documents. They contained intimate photos of John and Selena, close conversations, and large transfers John made to her. Looking at Selena, I said sternly, "You've both been cheating on me. Even the villa you live in was bought with my money by John, wasn't it? In my past life, John treated me with utmost care, and Selena was like a sister. Never did I doubt them. But now, looking back, things seemed unusual. John always had an excuse during intimate moments, claiming tiredness, yet he was always lively around Selena. He also took nightly walks, during which Selena would always disappear and not reply to messages, only returning after John came home exhausted. When I complained about John to Selena, she would only give a mysterious smile. The live cameras quickly captured Selena's panic, and the chat's tone suddenly shifted. "Oh man, her reaction shows she's totally with her friend's husband. This is so dramatic. Selena's with Alice's husband. They are playing dangerous games, living in the same neighborhood just for easy meetups." The crowd started giving John and Selena suggestive looks. John, however, remained defiant. "So what if it's true? You drove me to it. You treat me horribly at home. I just needed someone gentle to comfort my wounded soul. Is that so wrong? And no matter what, it doesn't excuse you for causing Lily's death." Selena chimed in. "Exactly. You need to reflect on yourself. If your husband cheats, isn't it partly your fault for driving Lily to her end? You show no remorse, just slander us to shift focus. Aren't you ashamed?" With their words, they tried to shift blame back to me, and the crowd turned on me again, saying I was unfit to be a mother. But just then, a group of police officers arrived. John pointed at me, eager to accuse. "Officers, she drove Lily to death. We have witnesses and evidence. Please arrest her now." The officers examined the scene, looking skeptical. After taking photos and evidence, they asked John, "Where's your evidence?" John pointed to himself and Selena. "We are the witnesses, and as for evidence, check my home security footage." The officers didn't hesitate and retrieved the footage, watching it on the spot. Meanwhile, John and Selena watched with smug faces. John confidently taunted, "With the police here, let's see how you try to deny it. You'll pay for your crimes." Selena smirked. "Think shifting focus clears you. Justice will catch up to you." As John and Selena imagined my downfall, the police continued watching, their expressions growing more baffled. When they finally finished, one officer, confused, asked John, "This is your evidence?" Unaware of the police's strange reaction, John nodded eagerly. "Yes, officer, this woman is crazy and inhumane. Arrest her. Someone who mistreats their own child every day doesn't deserve any sympathy." Their words were firm and convincing, like they were doing something noble by turning against their own family. But the cops were more confused by this. They started playing the surveillance footage and pointed at me, saying, "But in this video, all I see is this lady taking care of Lily every day. There's no evidence of what you're claiming happened to Lily." As soon as the police said that, John and Selena, who were just moments ago full of confidence, looked completely baffled. "How is that possible?" they said in unison, and then started watching the footage closely with the crowd. In the video, you could see me coming home from work and looking after Lily with care. Lily seemed very attached to me, sitting on the couch chatting and laughing. Her favorite thing was snuggling with me to watch TV. Everything in the footage was so warm and peaceful, no hint of anything unpleasant. The scene left everyone present dumbfounded. Wait, what's going on? Didn't her husband and Selena say she abused her daughter, Lily, every day? But this video looks totally normal. In fact, she's way more caring than my mom was with me. And Lily obviously likes her mom a lot. So why is all this completely opposite from what those two said? The tide turned completely, and the live stream chat was flooded with question marks. Onlookers stopped shouting insults at me and started doubting John and Selena. The two were now shocked, speechless, more eager than the audience to find out what was really going on. Last time, they used the home surveillance footage to falsely accuse me as a murderer, turning everyone against me and leading to my tragic demise. But things weren't going their way this time. After a long silence, John turned towards the body on the ground, his eyes wide with disbelief, and said, "But my daughter was definitely beaten badly and miscarried by her. And you can see all the injuries on her. You can verify this." Listening to John, the already hesitant crowd nodded along. Yeah, if she didn't actually abuse Lily, why would Lily leave a note with Selena before setting herself on fire? Exactly. And this woman doesn't even seem sad about it. Just from her indifferent expression, I can tell she's no good. John successfully reignited the crowd's anger toward me, flipping the situation again. The live stream chat resumed questioning and insulting me, but I remained calm and collected. I turned to the police and solemnly said, "Officers, since my husband says my daughter was covered in bruises from me, please conduct a proper examination." The police nodded and asked a forensic expert to examine the body in detail. Seeing this, John and Selena's confidence returned. They remembered the previous evidence of broken bones due to beatings. They believed the same evidence would destroy me this time, too. However, after the medical examination, the forensic expert concluded, besides burn injuries, there are no other signs of harm on the body. There's no indication that the deceased was beaten before death. The forensic results stunned everyone once more. What's going on? Were they lying to us all along? Weren't they saying Lily was beaten daily? The footage doesn't show it, and the body has no traces of beating. They've been playing us for fools. The crowd was filled with confusion and whispers. Then, Selena suddenly looked shocked. She hurriedly picked up the body and examined its hand, until she found a gold bracelet. Selena looked as if struck by lightning and muttered in shock, "How can this be? No, this isn't possible." Her face turned ghostly pale, and she collapsed onto the ground. After a moment of daze, she broke down, hugging the body and crying hysterically. Seeing this, the crowd was even more bewildered. What on earth is happening? It's like she's mourning her own child. In the midst of all the chatter, my assistant brought someone over, and when people saw him, their eyes widened in surprise. The first time I met John was at my company. I was working there as an intern, blending in faithfully. Back then, I wasn't notable or outstanding. I flew under the radar. John was an intern too, having started at the same time as me. He wasn't exceptionally bright and seemed a bit slow, but he grew up in rural areas and was no stranger to hard work. John was the most diligent intern, always hard at work without a moment's slack. No matter when, you'd find him focused on his computer. His tenacity impressed me. Initially, he was on the brink of getting fired for not delivering results. I helped him keep his job with a bit of behind-the-scenes maneuvering. The day he got confirmed in his position, he was glowing with happiness, full of spirit. And after that, he worked even harder. I admired his determination and slowly befriended him. I found out that, despite his quiet exterior, John was actually quite charming and often made me laugh. Being with him was relaxing, even when we were silent. His presence alone was comforting. However, taking our relationship beyond friendship started with an unexpected event. One evening, on my way out from an event, I was cornered by some drunk guys. They were harassing me, and I felt terrified and helpless. But just in the nick of time, John arrived like a hero. Even though he ended up beaten and bruised by them, he saved me from harm. That was the first time I felt my heart skip a beat for someone willing to risk everything for me. While John recovered in the hospital, I confessed my feelings to him, and he happily accepted. That's how our romance began. During the relationship, I kept a regular persona, doing simple things like enjoying street food, strolling through parks, or visiting amusement parks. Life was simple and joyous. Eventually, I brought John home to meet my parents. When he found out I was the daughter of the wealthiest family, he was nervous yet very polite. My parents didn't look down on him for his rural background. They said they weren't concerned about social status, because no one could be richer than us. They had just one condition: the suitor must agree to become part of our family. Because I'm the only child in my family, my parents didn't want me to marry into someone else's family. I thought John would hesitate, feel conflicted, or even refuse. After all, he's also the only son in his family. Plus, for a guy, it's a bit of a hit to their pride to marry into a woman's family. But surprisingly, John agreed without a second thought. He even vowed right then and there to love only me, promising to treat me well. To prove his loyalty, John signed a prenuptial agreement on that very day, stating that if he ever betrayed me after marriage, he'd leave with nothing. I was incredibly touched at the time. After we got married, John was so good to me, gentle and attentive. He took care of me in every way he could. Even though Lily was with me, he never minded. He always treated Lily like a precious jewel. For years, I believed in the deep love John portrayed. I honestly thought he was a good husband and father. Little did I know, it was all fake. After some investigation, I found out John was keeping another woman while acting all lovey-dovey with me. That woman was my best friend, Selena. During all those years with me, John and Selena were cheating behind my back. In the same month I got pregnant, Selena found out she was pregnant too. On the day I gave birth, both Selena and I were at the same hospital, arranged by John. Coincidentally, we both had daughters. To give Selena's Lily a life of luxury, John swapped our babies. The Lily I raised, cherished, and adored all these years was actually Selena's daughter. My biological daughter was with Selena, suffering abuse, covered in bruises and fractures. If I hadn't gone through a near-death experience, I would never have uncovered the truth, that the daughters were switched. Now, the assistant has brought me my real daughter. She looks almost identical to Lily, sharing the same features from their father. She's even pregnant, so they look like twins at first glance. But her face is full of fear, like a scared little kitten, cautious with everyone. Everyone was shocked, speechless. Even the live stream viewers flooded the chat with question marks. Only John and Selena were wide-eyed, utterly stunned. "You wretched woman, you're actually alive." Selena was the first to regain her composure, glaring viciously at my daughter. I shielded my frightened daughter, facing Selena directly. "The middleman who switched my daughter has already been bought off by me. So, the one burned to death in the house was your own daughter." My words hit Selena like a hammer, shattering her world once again. Although she recognized Lily's body earlier, my words drove home the reality that her biological daughter was truly dead. Her plan was the same as last time: to use my daughter as a scapegoat and blame me for everything, killing me in the process. That way, she, my husband, and Lily could live openly as a family of three. But the real tragedy was her own daughter dying. John, veins bulging in anger, cursed at me. "How can you be so cold-hearted? Even if Lily isn't your biological daughter, you raised her for so many years. How can you be so indifferent to her death?" I looked John in the eye and said slowly, "Yes, I raised her for so many years, but all my love and care were part of your sinister plan. While I was wondering how to treat Lily well, she was plotting with you too, conspiring to take my assets and our lives. Lily had any regard for me, she wouldn't have cooperated with you to record the call meant to frame me. Reflecting on my past life, I did nothing wrong. Yet Selena and John vilified me, and my son-in-law killed me in public. My biological daughter suffered from birth, getting beaten up and ultimately dying in a fire. In this lifetime, they haven't hesitated to try and kill us again. I can't find any reason to forgive them. Lily was never my child, but I gave her all my love for over 20 years. However, my assistant told me Lily knew everything. She even helped Selena set me up with the call meant to frame me. She chose to kill me and my daughter with a clear conscience to reunite with Selena. Since she showed no mercy, why should I? Selena's eyes bulged with anger. Alice, aren't you afraid of karma? I looked puzzled. Shouldn't I ask you that? Even if my daughter isn't your biological child, you didn't need to abuse her, cause her miscarriage, and try to kill her. And wasn't it you who killed Lily with your own hands? Why would I face karma? My words shocked everyone present. The stream exploded with questions. What's going on? Wasn't Lily's death a suicide? Yeah, why did she say Selena killed her? What's the hidden truth here? Amid everyone's confusion, I played a video in front of everyone. It showed Selena sneaking into my house with a can of gasoline. After spreading it, she dropped a lit lighter and walked away without a care for Lily's screams. Once the video ended, the place went wild. Wow, so it wasn't suicide. It really was this woman who set the fire. That's just so evil. And she framed someone else too. Looks like karma got her. She probably never expected to burn her own daughter. As people lashed out at Selena both in person and online, I handed the video to the police, then turned to Selena. Our daughters do look alike, but there are differences. I can't believe you'd be so heartless, and not even check, before burning her alive for my assets. You're truly insane. In my previous life, I didn't recognize Lily, because I only saw a charred body. But when Selena set the fire, Lily was yelling in the room. I never imagined Selena would be so ruthless, as to not care enough to look. Suddenly furious, Selena screamed, "I'll kill you." She dumped the body she was holding and charged at me. But just then, my son-in-law, who'd been hiding, leapt up with a knife. Without a word, he slashed Selena's throat, and then buried the knife into John's chest. In a flash, Selena and John lay dead before everyone. In my past life, Mike killed me like this in public to avenge Lily. This time, he made the same choice, but this time, he killed someone else. In the end, Mike got caught and went to jail. The police also exposed all the crimes Selena and John committed over the years. While I was lovingly raising Lily, Selena had my daughter living in a house they meticulously set up to look just like mine. The whole house was a replica of my home style. When Lily was pregnant, they made sure my daughter was too. Then they found someone who looked like me to act as a replacement. This person followed my schedule, abusing my daughter in front of surveillance cameras every day. This way, the surveillance tapes were full of videos showing me beating Lily. In the previous life, John switched the memory cards of the surveillance cameras early on and gave the police those tapes showing me attacking Lily. This time around, I was prepared. I uncovered their scheme step by step, stopping the tragedy from happening again. After everything was settled, I started a new life with my biological daughter, MIA. Once I healed all her wounds, we traveled the world together. She had suffered way too much over these years. I wanted to show her the beautiful scenery along the way, and be with her every step. I wanted to tell her that all the dark times will eventually pass. I hope to capture Mia's smile in all the wonderful, romantic places around the world. I need her to know the world is worth it.